Okay, what we have here is the PackaFeather XL alcohol stove. Basically, it's a pretty simple made stove. It falls into the ultra-light backpacking category for stoves, and for the most part it's very light. It weighs 1.4 ounces. It's constructed of 3 different metals. You've got aluminum, stainless steel, and some brass components. The diameters or dimensions of it is we have a diameter of 3 1/4 inches, and then the height of it is 1 5/8 inches. So it's pretty compact, pretty simple, fits real easy into, depending upon what type of pot you have, down to a ½ liter cooking pot if need be. This is basically how it comes when you receive it. What you have here is on the bottom here, you have your packing cap, and when we open up the packing cap, you'll find that there are a couple components in it. The first component that stands out and basically helps to keep everything tight inside is the snuffer cap, and this is basically used to put out your flame when you're done using the stove. And that's one of the great advantages of this stove, is that when you're done and you have finished cooking, you can put the flame out, let the unit cool down, and actually recover the unused fuel and put it back in your fuel bottle for later use. Your next component is your fuel cap. Now, the manufacturer recommends no greater than 2 1/2 ounces of fuel that you would put in here for your cooking purposes. The next component is your pot stand, which is made of mesh screen wiring, and then there are 3 holding prongs on it. And then our base unit, which basically the manufacturer calls the combustion chamber, is pretty much a cat food can. They've cut out the bottom of it and added a retaining ring, or what the manufacturer likes to call is a choke ring. And then there is basically a worm gear assembly here that allows you to adjust by counterclockwise, and you open up this ring, and by clockwise you obviously close the ring. And basically this is the main way you control your flame output, and that's another advantage of this particular alcohol stove versus the others. And what they ended up doing was, on the inside here you can see that they actually cut air holes or breathe holes into the can, and then the choke ring actually goes around it. And like anything, fire, obviously need one of the components is oxygen. So if we can limit the oxygen, we have a lower flame. If we increase the oxygen, we have a greater flame. So this allows us to control our heat output, and allows us to actually lengthen our burn time, or increase and shorten the burn time of the stove. So very easy to assemble, actually. There's only one way. It's idiot proof. You take your 3 prongs and you look for the retaining holes, and you basically just line them up with the retaining holes and slip it in. You fill up your fuel cap with the recommended amount of fuel. You would put your fuel chamber inside and light it, and away we go. Now, the manufacturer has 2 extra components that are separate from the unit that you can buy separately, obviously, and the one is your windscreen. And I highly recommend the windscreen because most alcohol stoves that I've started using appear to definitely need some type of wind protection to allow for your greater heat output. And the other one is a recovering cap for your fuel, and this allows you to not have to touch the fuel in any way. You would stick this actually in the cup here, and you would actually have this on your fuel bottle. You'd squeeze the fuel bottle, and obviously the suction sucks the fuel back in. Me personally, once this is cooled, it seems to be easier to just pour this right into the fuel bottle. So these are the major components of your PackaFeather XL stove. So let's do a burn test, and let's just see how well it does.